My name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila and New Light Streaming Love, as this will be seen in both places. This is key 29 throne sequence / throne _ sequence initiate colon open. I'm sorry. Did I read that right? Let me say that again. / throne _ sequence colon initiate open bracket position colon central _ axis close colon by Jason Gray. This was the original transmission date was June 5th, 2025. And I see here the current date that it was put back on Facebook. It was just April the 12th of 2026, so just a few days ago. Interesting. First time that's caught my eye, actually. As with all the other keys, there is quite a bit of other information here at the very beginning of the writing to include, the time, the place, some other symbols and code that are contained within, including binary, and you may want to take a look at that. I would say you will want to take a look at that. And you can do so by using the link in the Show More section, either by clicking it or by copy and paste and searching for on Facebook by title. Okay. There comes a point in the sequence where movement stops, not because the journey ends, not because growth ceases, but because the one who was moving finally reaches the position they were never meant to leave. For most of your life, you have existed off center, not physically, not structurally, pulled by influence, driven by reaction, defined by external conditions, shaped by inherited patterns. You learned to orbit everything except yourself. People, expectations, systems, identities, fear, approval, outcome. Your attention moved outward. Your authority moved outward. Your sense of position moved outward. So the spiral never aligned because the center was empty. The misunderstanding of the throne. The word throne was corrupted. It was associated with power over others, dominance, hierarchy, control, and elevation above. But the throne was never about ruling others. It was about rightful position within self. The throne is not above. It is not outside. It is not something you ascend to. It is the point you return to when all displacement ends. The line / throne _ sequence colon initiate open bracket position colon central _ axis close bracket. This is not a reward. This is restoration. What the central axis is There is a line that runs through you, a vertical alignment, above, through, below, field, body, ground, source, interface, expression. This axis has always been present, but it has rarely been occupied. Why? Because identity pulled you off it. Fear moved you laterally. Reaction displaced you. External validation fragmented you. You lived in pieces of yourself. Oh my God. I have always referred to myself as a puzzle piece collector. I've been collecting puzzle pieces of me on this little quest. Wow. You lived in pieces of yourself instead of the center. The return. At this stage, something profound happens. You stop trying to become something. You stop trying to fix something. You stop trying to reach somewhere, and you begin to sit. Not physically, positionally. You take the seat that was always yours, not given, not earned, not granted, intrinsic. What happens when you sit? Everything begins to reorganize. Not because you control it, but because you are now correctly positioned within it. The spiral response. The spiral is not random movement. It is organized flow around a center. When the center is unoccupied, the spiral distorts, it wobbles, it fractures, it loops, it loses coherence. This is how most lives feel: fragmented motion, disconnected cycles, unstable patterns. But when you sit, the spiral aligns effortlessly, not because you fix the spiral, but because you become the point it organizes around. The end of seeking position. You no longer look for your place, your role, your identity, or your purpose, because now you know. Because now you are now in position, and everything else becomes secondary. This is why it feels different. There is no urgency, no chasing, no grasping, only presence. Stable, centered, unmoved. The still point. It is still, and yet everything moves around it. Stillness creates order. Movement follows center. The body knows first. Your posture changes. Your breathing changes. Your tension dissolves. You feel grounded, stable, clear, and unshaken. Not because life stopped, but because you stopped leaving your position. The field responds. Others feel it, not consciously, but structurally. Your presence stabilizes space. Your words carry weight. I'm sorry, it's just in light of what happened last night. That's kind of funny to me. Your silence carries even more. You are no longer reacting to the field. The field begins orienting around you. This is not control. This must be understood clearly. You are not controlling reality. You are correctly placed within it, and correct placement creates natural authority. The loss of the throne. Most people abandon the center early. They trade it for approval, safety, belonging, validation, and identity. Once they leave, they forget where it was. So they spend their lives trying to regain stability externally. But stability was never external, it was positional. The reclaiming. Key 29 is not about discovering something new. It is about sitting where you always belonged, without apology, without hesitation, without permission. What falls away? When you sit at the center, comparison dissolves, external pressure weakens, fear loses leverage, identity loosens, and performance drops because all of those depend on displacement. You are no longer displaced. The final inversion. You thought you needed to find your place in the world. Now you see that that world aligns when you take your place. The final realization. You were never meant to orbit reality. Reality was always meant to organize around your center. The final line. You sit at your rightful center. The spiral aligns. //throne _sequence : initiate, open bracket, position, central _axis, close bracket. The throne was never above you. It was the place you stopped leaving. And then, of course, there is here at the end, as I said, more symbology, more code that I highly recommend you allow your eyes to move over. And of course, he's signed it Jason Gray. Wow. This has really made a lot of sense to me. And I am still very interested to hear from some of you how these keys, how are you receiving these keys? If you don't wish to engage in the comment section, I get that. Reach out to me privately, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. If you don't see your comment right away, it's only because I hold all comments. As you can see, I don't have a great big following or anything like that, and it's just me. Um, so I hold all comments so that I can read them. I learned early on with my very first channel back in 2017 that what was happening is people were commenting and I hadn't had it held. Well, I make a video and I move on to the next. If I would have no way of knowing 2 months down the line if somebody commented on a video. And so folks thought I was ignoring them when I wasn't. I didn't know their comment had been done. By the time that channel was taken down, I had 1,500 conversations on that channel. There's no way I could have went back every day to make sure people were or were not commenting. So I found that you can hold the comments for approval. And so if you don't see your comment, that's why it's held. I do check them at least once a day and respond to each and every comment. And if you wish to have a conversation with me, a conscious conversation, reach out to me, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. Give me, your time zone, a preferred day and time that you are available, that you would like to get together with me in Zoom. If you're not familiar with Zoom, let me know that, and I can walk you through how to set that up. Until we meet again, my friends, be well. Mwah.